What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm DS. I'm here as always with my guy Dino Bam Bam.
What up, dog?
What up, man?
Hey, just chilling, man. This is a pretty decent fight card.
Yeah, we've got a nice fight night card. Obviously, the main event is Font versus Sandhagen. Very excited about that one. We do have 11 other fights, and we do have our guy Dennis Buzukja making his debut.
That is huge. That is huge.
We've been big supporters.
Amazing.
For a few months now, yeah, absolutely. So excited to see him. It seems like he's fighting second on the card. He's fighting Sean Woodson. Before we get into all that, can you please tell our loyal subscribers and followers where they can find us?
Well, if you're a loyal subscriber and follower, you don't got to do this thing.
Right.
But for the rest of you guys, if you could help us out, if you could do us this little favor, click the little subscribe button, ring the little bell. What's the noise the bell makes? Something along those lines. That would really help us out. The bell lets you know when our videos drop. You can also follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. The first fight that's coming up, not to take your shine away, but we just put up a picture with Ode Osbourne, or a video with Ode Osbourne.
Yeah.
It was a fun time in Vegas.
That was fun.
Yeah. So
that was fun, yeah. We saw Ode walking out of... He was with, what's his name?
Joaquin Buckley.
With Joaquin Buckley. Him and Joaquin Buckley were walking out of the T-Mobile Arena? Yeah. And it was like pretty late at night, right? It was
we
like
were pretty intoxicated.
I was pretty late, yeah, that's for sure.
We had just come from New York. You guys were on like a blackjack bender for a little bit there. You came up.
I did come up. I was down like a few $100 and I ended up decently.
Good times.
So that's nice. But yeah, that was awesome, man. That was probably one of the cooler moments of the weekend, to be honest, as far as interactions with fighters go. So if you want to see that, check it out on Instagram. It's up there right now. Again, at the107MMA.
Look at you plugging the IG.
That's right.
Is that the first time you've done that?
It might be.
It was almost flawless.
Damn, thank you. I appreciate it.
It was really good.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You know, I was nervous about it.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Only one way to get rid of those nerves, just try it.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. For what it's worth, too, I've been doing the last two cards completely sober.
Yeah, that's a big change for us.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little high, but anyway, let's jump right into it. So we got, like I said, a 12-fight card. Some decent fights on here. Let's start right away with who you just said, Ode Osbourne, and he is fighting Asu Almabaev, who is making his UFC debut out of Kazakhstan. I guess the number one flyweight in Kazakhstan. Not sure if that says much, but what do you think about this one?
Yeah, he's number one according to Tapology.
Yeah.
Really quickly, before we get into that, I just want to say...
I was going to say, don't ask me what Almabaev drinks.
No.
Yeah.
Just a ton of really tough fights early on this card. I think the prelims are...
In the sense of, like
picking winners. Yeah, I think there's a lot of close fights on this prelims. Then I think as we get closer to the main card, which obviously is going to happen a little later on, things get a little easier to pick, I guess.
Yep.
But anyways, I digress. Ode Osbourne, new our boy, right?
Absolutely.
Southpaw, long-bodied striker, good power, some funky striking. He is a striker primarily, but we've seen him utilize the takedowns as of late. Last time out, he beat Charles Johnson, who we've talked about 1,000 times on this show. It seems like Charles Johnson's like...
He's probably the most mentioned fighter, I feel like.
I really do think so. Yeah, and then he has a couple other good wins. A win over CJ Vergara, who we got to see last week. His losses have all come via finish, except for one fight. We've seen Ode Osbourne get starched a few times. You always say that's pretty concerning at 125 when you see a guy get knocked out. It's not really a good look.
Yeah, although I will say, I mean, the flyweights, we're seeing it more and more. I think we're seeing more power at flyweight in general.
Absolutely.
So.
I think the skill is getting better. I think the power is getting better. These flyweights are, you always say that. Flyweight is a really, really good division, and it's getting better.
Absolutely.
Those losses, have come to like pretty good comp in the UFC. Tyson Nam and Manel Kopp.
Yeah, I mean... Tyson Nam packs a punch, obviously.
Right.
If he catches you with that right, he could put anybody in the division out.
And then Manel Kopp, former Ryzen champion.
Yeah, I mean, just a beast on the feet. So.
Absolutely. Ode Osbourne's taking on Asu Almabaev, newcomer in the UFC. Very flashy on the feet. When it comes to the striking, he's very flashy. He's, of course, going to use that flashy striking to get into the takedowns, like you would assume by, reading or hearing his name, right? Mm-hmm. He's on a 13-fight winning streak right now. Before that, he had lost 2 in a row. One of those fights was against Tagir Ulanbekov. Yep. Very good fighter in the UFC. No shame in losing to Tagir. This guy sets a really good pace on the ground. He stays very active. He's got really good cardio. I don't see him getting tired often or ever, I think. 8 wins by sub, but he's not desperate to find that sub. That's what I like about his ground game, right? You see a lot of people, when they get you down, those submission artists, quote unquote, they'll just like really go after it and kind of put themselves in a shitty position.
Yep.
He doesn't really do that. He's sound down there. He stays patient.
He has, I just want to mention, he has fought like some cans, though, and like it seems like he fights like a good fighter and then a can. Like his last fight was against Brave CF against the 3-1 guy.
Yeah.
And then he won a split decision to a 21-10 guy, which, okay.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a really close fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that one, but really close fight. I mean, he could have lost it, honestly. But and then before that, 4-0. And then 10-1, 10-2, 3-0. So it's interesting. You know, there's some cans.
It's always like that, right? When you do like these like fighters that come out of the Asian region.
If you're switching like promotions too.
A lot of times they want you to come in and win if you have like a big name. In Asia, we see that all the time, right? We always say it with the Dagestani guys. We see it with a lot of Chinese fighters. But yeah,
I'm just saying, it leaves a bit of unknown. Of course, when you haven't been tested against like truly good competition. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been. He has fought some good fighters. But.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting fight. Both guys are good strikers. I'll give the slight edge to Ode Osbourne there. In the grappling, Ode is pretty good. I think he's probably going to be outmatched, though, in that regard. I think, what's his name, Asu?
Yeah.
I think Asu's going to take Ode down early and often. Mm-hmm. Ode's eventually going to make a mistake down there. He's going to leave something open. He's going to slip up. Maybe he leaves his neck out there. I'm thinking Asu maybe round 2 RNC after Ode slows down a little bit. I know Osbourne has been training with Merab Dvalishvili as of late, so maybe his ground game has gotten a lot better. I just can't...
That's a good guy to do it.
That's a great guy to do it with. I just can't pick that because we haven't seen it in the cage yet.
Yeah.
So I am going to take Asu here, but Ode Osbourne being a new R guy, I hope, I wish the best for him and I hope he does win.
Same here, brother. You've said it all. We love Ode. Good luck to him. But I do see it playing out in favor of Asu and mostly on the ground. I mean, if it stays on the feet, I think Ode, what he needs to do to have a chance to win the fight is put the pressure on.
Yeah.
Because it seems like Asu fades a little bit when you start pressuring him from the fights that I've seen.
Okay.
So for me, that's the path to victory for Ode. Unfortunately, Ode hasn't always come out and been a very aggressive fast starter pushing forward. He prefers to go second.
Yeah.
Right? So I need him to go first and third if he's going to have a chance to win this one.
Agreed.
I see a 30-27 decision.
Okay. I like it.
Moving on to the next fight of the card, it is our boy, Dennis Buzukja versus Sean Woodson. And I just want to say, I'm pissed at how much film I had to watch for random guys.
Yeah, you were breaking that down to me.
I was really upset about that. And I'm happy for Dennis Buzukja.
And it was funny because I text you.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dino, Dennis Buzukja is in, bro. Yeah. And you're like, oh, no shit. We were like really excited about it.
And then
you're like, versus who?
Faded.
You're like, who's he fighting?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, Sean Woodson. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, how many fucking guys am I going to have to watch film for this guy?
I swear to God. He was supposed to be fighting Jesse Butler.
Yeah. That didn't work.
No, there was somebody before that, too, I want to say.
Dude, I think 2 people pulled out. And then there was the Brazilian guy that was in for like 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you in those
was that guy on?
In those 13 minutes, you watched the Brazilian guy's entire catalog.
I swear to God.
And then just immediately.
No, I swear to God though, the fight was announced that morning, and I was working out, and I like to watch film when I work out.
Yeah.
Because it just gives me something to focus on, you know. And literally, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll throw some film out of this guy, and I watched like 3-4 of his fights, and then like literally hours later, this happened. I'm like, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? This is like the 4th guy I've had to watch film for this.
It's amazing.
In any case, Sean Woodson, no matter how you slice it, I just don't think he's very good.
He's tall.
He's tall as shit. He's the tallest active featherweight. He has the longest reach for an active featherweight. He's not explosive. He's not fast. He's like very slight of build.
It's so weird, yeah.
Like such a bird like chested ass guy, and I mean, no offense, right? Like. It's just, I don't see anything on tape that stands out to me in general, as far as this fight game is concerned. Dennis Buzukja is, to me, the more well-rounded fighter, certainly the more explosive fighter. I believe he's going to have the power advantage too, potentially even the cardio advantage. For me, Sean Woodson's just tall.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go Dennis Buzukja. I mean, I'm probably going to go by 30-27 decision. I could see him getting a TKO finish too. maybe. We have seen Woodson's chin tested. So, yeah. I think I'm leaning decision, but I could see a TKO. What do you think?
Yeah, so I just want to touch on Sean Woodson really quickly. Not like that, but I just want to...
All right.
Yes, he is very tall. That's like the thing that stands out about him.
He's also coming off a pretty long hiatus, I believe, right?
Well, he was on the Usman Leon Edwards 2 card in Utah.
But before that,
I
thought
good
so.
question. Let's see. So before that, he had fought Colin Anglin, and that was like 10 months before that.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been
super active. So you want to see a little bit more activity. And I don't know. I mean, does anything stand out to you in his game?
No, I mean, besides the height, he's one-dimensional. He's one of those guys, right? And usually when you see one-dimensional guys, I would say like 70% of the time it's like a jiu-jitsu nerd, right? Or it's like one of those guys that can just wrestle and that's all they have. He's one-dimensional in the sense that he's a boxer. And he fights he boxes like his frame, right? He's long-bodied, he pokes the jab, he likes to just keep you at distance so he could point fight you. Last time out, he looked really slow.
Dude, he looked so slow.
But maybe we can attribute that to the elevation. That was the card
where
everyone was like
dying.
Though.
He was slow off the bat, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he warmed up and he was already gassed from the elevation. But
possibly.
I don't know. Also, that was... Luis Saldana versus Sean Woodson was a terrible fight.
Yeah.
Like, it was the sloppiest looking fight.
Sloppy, awkward.
Luis Saldana, maybe the lowest fight IQ I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that... Like, at first he had him wobbled, didn't go for the finish. And then the next time he had it wobbled... Dude, Sean Woodson was on skates. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that Luis Saldana is like a... is like a...
Yeah, like he cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No, I agree. But anyways, look... Who would we be if we didn't take Dennis Buzukja, right?
I mean, we're obviously going to take him.
We're
always going to take him.
We've been kind of like... We've been on this for a while now.
Yeah.
And we said we're going to get Dennis Buzukja in the UFC. Like, obviously, we didn't do it. We didn't get him. He got himself
you didn't
there.
Make any calls or anything?
Right. Well, I called a couple of guys and left a couple of voicemails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like, we decided Dennis Buzukja, that was like our mission. He's in. Then we made the joke that it was going to... After... We said, once Dennis Buzukja gets in... We have to find a new fighter to like pick on, or like not pick on, but like pick him, and our goal is to get him to the UFC.
Can we pick that guy?
We joked about the blonde guy, remember?
Yeah.
So we joked
I
about
follow
him
him on Instagram. I forgot his name now. Colton
England?
Colton England.
Yeah, I think it was Colton England.
Yeah.
I am taking Dennis Buzukja at 29-28, but I wanted to touch on that thing really quickly. So Colton England right now is like the front runner, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I figure maybe we should let the fans pick.
Damn.
If you guys know a fighter...
That's a great idea.
If you guys know a fighter and you want that person in the UFC and you think we would like them, leave some names in the comments. Right?
We're happy to support.
We'll support somebody. We'll watch a couple fights if we haven't already seen them. Like,
Absolutely.
We'll try to get them in there. For me, I was thinking Solomon Renfro is like, off the top of my head, that was the person that jumped out, But then Colton England we talked about.
Yeah.
There's some good fighters. So if you guys know of any fighters that you want to see in the UFC, give us someone reasonable. Don't give us someone that's like 1-0. You know what I mean? They got to have like...
right, don't tag like your cousin.
Right, your cousin that just had his first pro fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Unless he's for real lit, then I'm down to get in on the ground floor. But
get it.
I need to see some violent knockouts or something.
Yeah, or some like really good submission skills, good wrestling, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dennis Buzukja, man, 29-28. This is really cool. I'm going to be really excited to see him fighting in the UFC.
Same. Absolutely.
Let's get it.
He's definitely automatically one of the more handsome fighters, too.
Let's get it.
On the roster, I will say. Moving on to the next fight of the card, and this is a very interesting one. I'm really excited about this one. It's Jake Hadley versus Cody Durden, another fight at 125. Super exciting fight, man. What do you think about this one?
I love the matchmaking. Jake Hadley, former Cage Warriors champion. He's a striker. He
looks so British.
He looks super duper British. He
There's
does have
nothing
that.
else he could be like.
He looks like a soccer hooligan.
100%.
Like Wayne Rooney's little
he
cousin
literally
or something.
Like he's related to Wayne Rooney.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got that vibe to him. So shout out Wayne Rooney.
Yep.
I watched a random video about Manchester United and like their business today. Just like the business side of things on Manchester United.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a YouTube algorithm?
Type shit. So Jake Hadley, former Cage Warriors champion. Good striking, good jiu-jitsu, good takedowns. He is really, really good in general. Very well-rounded. Coming into his Contender Series fight, he was the champion at Cage Warriors. He was super hyped up. He beat Mitch Raposo. But if you remember, he had missed weight in that fight. That
Yep.
was like the big deal. Dana wanted to bring him in, but they were kind of like, dude missed weight.
Let me just ask you something.
Yeah.
When's the last time you think you weighed 125?
Jesus, I'm 6 years old. I have no idea, bro. What about you, dog?
Probably same, dude. My dad used to have a joke saying that when I was 10 years old, I was 100 kilograms. By the time I'm 20, I'll be 200. So I'm European, so it's fine.
So he knows about kgs and centimeters. And,
That's right. Yeah. A couple centimeters, right?
hey.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Every time I see 125, I'm like, dude, literally, I must have been like
little
first grade, dude, like kindergarten. Like, I don't know.
I remember hitting 200 pounds as like a kid, and I was tripping because I was playing Madden. And I was like looking at the players and
That's
shit.
That's probably why you're just sitting there playing Madden.
Right, that's probably
being
why.
a piece of shit.
That's what happens. That's how you get to 200 pounds. But then I remember they had Randy Moss at like 185 pounds or some shit. I was like, I'm just heavier than this grown ass man. I'm like 11 or 12 or some shit. That's fucked up. This, this 6'4" athlete.
I dealt with that same trauma, my friend. So
Anyways.
I feel that.
But anyway, so he had missed weight in that fight, and then they wanted to get him in, but it was just kind of like, how do we let a guy that missed weight get in? Eventually, Dana said yes. They let him in. He came in. He fought Al Nascimento in his UFC debut.
Tough matchup.
Tough matchup, man.
A true specialist.
And Nascimento's a dog, dude. There's no shame. He ended up losing that fight to Al Nascimento. No shame in that. Then he rebounded well. He came back and he beat Carlos Candelario. And last time out, he dominated Malcolm X Gordon.
Yeah. Messed him up.
Yes. Jake Hadley is taking on Cody Durden. Very aggressive wrestler. He throws super wild, loopy punches to get into his wrestling. He's one of those guys that's going to wrestle, and when you get up, he's going to wrestle again, and then you're going to get up, and he's going to wrestle again.
Durden?
Yeah. That's all he does. He takes you down. People get up. He takes you down. Mm-hmm. It's like think like Merab Dvalishvili, but not as dominant in the grappling, right?
Yeah. And he has been subbed 4 times.
He has been subbed. There are some holes in his game down there. Like, he's not very heavy on top. He is susceptible to a submission, but he is absolute nonstop,
He's
super
relentless.
high motor.
He's relentless, yeah.
Yes. So to me, this fight's a bit complicated because Durden has looked very good as of late. He's looked very good. He's been winning 3-fight win streak. I think Jake Hadley is ultimately just a better fighter than him all around, and I think his future is brighter than Cody Durden's peak. Let's put it that way. But we've also seen him get taken down a ton of times and get held down.
Yep.
So there are some holes in Hadley's game. Do we take the guy who's the better fighter here? Or do we take the guy that has the advantages where this guy's holes are, essentially, right? That's kind of what it boils down to for me.
Hadley also 5 years younger for what it's worth.
Yes, and we expect to see improvements.
And a slight 3-inch reach. So, yeah, exactly.
And I do think I do think he's the better fighter. I think he will have a better future. But we've seen him struggling on the ground. And with me, something's telling me Cody Durden's going to put a nonstop pace on him, tire him out, and win this fight via decision.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
And it is super close, man. It's super close.
A lot of these fights.
Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right. I just see Jake Hadley outlasting Cody Durden. I've never seen Jake Hadley even come close to tiring out. Cody Durden is the one that puts the pressure on, but I feel like he ends up for 125, I feel like his cardio is not spectacular.
Yeah.
I've seen him kind of gas out.
But he's got that, like, it's weird because there's that wrestling cardio, right?
Right.
A lot of these wrestlers have interesting cardio. Like, they could be tired, but they'll bust their ass and work through it.
Absolutely.
It's not like that kind of I'm exhausted, tired, where I can't do anything. Kind of like we saw Jan Blachowicz this last weekend, right? Like, exhausted.
You're absolutely right. I just
these
think
wrestlers
that Hadley's
don't have
also
that. He's good,
really good.
Yeah, it was tough for me.
And on top of that, too, if he's going to keep trying to get Hadley down, I could absolutely see Hadley getting him into a submission, second, third round, a little bit later, after Durden starts to tire out a little bit. More than anything, though, I see it playing out as a 29-28 decision. I'm a little concerned. I mean, I'm very concerned. I don't feel super confident about it. This is a really tough fight. These are 2 really high-level fighters. Very excited about it more than anything. He needs to watch the wrestling. Hadley also does tend to leave his chin up at times, man. He really does. So, and he gets clipped. So, now we haven't seen him really rocked or anything like that. Cody Durden can pack a punch. So, tough call. I could see a sub. More than anything, I think Durden wins the first round. And then as the fight goes on, we see Jake Hadley kind of taking over a little bit. Again, not terribly confident, though.
Weirdly enough, though, Cody Durden on the world rankings a few spots higher than Jake Hadley. Good matchmaking.
Really good matchmaking.
Yeah.
When I saw this one on paper, I was like, man, this is a great fight. Moving on to the next fight on the card, and this is at 145. A lot of small guys to start this one off.
Yeah.
Not a ton of big fighters on it in general. Well, a couple of heavyweights, but
yeah.
This is Billy Quarantillo versus Damon Jackson.
More great matchmaking.
I mean, yeah, really, really good, and another really close one. I'm actually very curious. We haven't discussed this one at all. Very curious to see what you're gonna have to say about this one. Billy Quarantillo, as we know, obviously weaponizes his cardio. He's one of the better people in the division at doing that.
Yeah.
You know, not always the highest fight IQ. You know, we saw him get absolutely pulverized by Edson Barbosa last time out. I mean, just not the smartest move. You know,
yeah.
You're shooting on Edson Barbosa. It doesn't take long for him to fire up something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, he can be pretty hittable. He does take damage, but man, he takes it pretty well for the most part. He does tend to get messed up though. He bleeds, he gets cut up, he gets knocked out, you know. But he's very relentless, keeps pushing forward. He's also very well rounded. With that though, nothing really stands out as like superb to me in his game.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a ton of power, you know. They're almost kind of like foils to one another. Whereas Damon Jackson, not many of his fights go the distance, right? Like he has absolutely been knocked out. He's had some vicious knockouts himself.
Yeah.
More than anything, Damon Jackson's probably going to tap you out. So it's a very, very interesting fight, man. I mean, Damon Jackson is basically like the featherweight Paul Craig to me, in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Super dangerous jiu-jitsu, can land the occasional, you know, violent KO, like I said. I've been going back and forth on this one, man. But honestly, I do think that Damon Jackson's going to be able to find a finish in this one. I think... Now, if it goes the distance, I think Billy Quarantillo has a much higher chance to win this fight. I just don't see it really going the distance. I think Damon Jackson is going to drop Billy Quarantillo at some point, get him rocked, and then end up taking him down and subbing him, I'd say, in the second round.
Yeah. The weird thing about Damon Jackson to me is at times he looks super good.
Amazing.
And then at times he looks not so
Awful.
good. Yeah. But... interestingly, his losses in MMA have come to really good competition.
Amazing competition.
Right? So...
Ilya and Dan Ige.
Dan
Ige put his ass out.
And Habulayev in the PFL absolutely destroyed him with that knee.
Oh, my God.
Slumped him bad.
God.
Weird...
That was
it's vicious.
I watched that, like... Obviously online. I wasn't, like, watching it live.
Yeah.
But, man, that was...
It's a brutal knockout.
Knee.
So we've seen him get slumped, right? No shame in losing to those guys. Those are three world-class fighters.
He's beaten Pat Sabatini. He's beaten Camur Kirk. So
he was on that streak right there where Damon Jackson was looking like a world beater.
He looked really good.
4-fight win streak.
I think his hairline takes away from like his hype.
Maybe.
You see a guy like with that hairline and you're like,
just some like 42-year-old man.
How good can this guy be? You know, and it's like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get it.
And also he's 34. He's not even like that old.
Right.
You know?
He just looks old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hairline. It's the brutal receding hairline.
And he just rocks it.
Yeah, but
like,
it is
he doesn't
what it
like
is.
try to hide it or anything.
And hey, we could say that, right? Because we're bald guys, so like we could talk shit about that.
Absolutely.
It's like, you know,
if anybody can.
But yeah, and then you got Billy Q, man. Billy Q is scrappy as hell. Like you said, nothing really stands out in terms of like technique or skill.
Can I just say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's a guy I just wish was better, man.
Right, and I feel like everybody does.
I like his style. I really liked him when he was up like an up and coming prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought he'd be a little bit better.
Dude, I get it. We talked about Billy Quarantillo the last time he fought, and he's like, I feel like all the like real diehard MMA fans love Billy Q for some reason, and it's because his fights are fun.
Man.
Yeah, his fights are fun. He's scrappy. He's gonna bleed every time he comes out there. Some wild shit's going down. Again, another very tough fight to pick. I don't know what to make of it. They both lost their last fights. They were both knocked out pretty damn badly.
Yep.
I'm just gonna take Billy Quarantillo. I just think he's a little better than Damon Jackson.
I get it.
But the thing that worries me,
he won.
But the thing that worries me about it is that if Billy Quarantillo were to beat Damon Jackson, it would be the worst loss for Damon Jackson. And that's no knock. Actually, it wouldn't be the worst loss of his career, but he's only lost one other time.
Right.
Besides the 3 guys that we mentioned. So it would be the lowest name on there. So is he maybe just better than him? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'm taking Billy Quarantillo. Super low confidence.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. And another close fight. Moving on to the next one. It's Jeremiah Wells. At least I think it's a close one. Versus Carleston Harris at 170. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, so another tricky one, right? I said the prelims on this card, wild as shit. Mm-hmm. So both dudes are 36 years old. First, we have Jeremiah Wells, well-rounded, great power, good wrestling or grappling, or so at least it seemed against Blood Diamond. He absolutely dominated him on the ground. Yeah. We know that Jeremiah Wells is a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
And a damn good wrestler, too.
Right, and a damn good wrestler. He's knocked people out, like, oftentimes, I think, because they worry too much about the ground game.
Yeah.
But, like, shit, that's MMA, right? If you get people worrying about something, you're able to capitalize on something else, you're a pretty damn good fighter. Dude's an absolute tank. He is jacked as dog shit.
What's the height difference here? It's got to be pretty...
decently big, right?
Sizable, right?
Let's see.
I think Jeremiah Wells is 5'9".
So, yeah, 5'9" to 6 foot.
74-inch reach and 76. So, I mean... Could be worse.
Yeah, so Carleston Harris, as you mentioned, he's taller. He's the long-bodied fighter. Good striking, also pretty well-rounded. 3-1 in the UFC. We've seen him win by sub, decision, and KO.
Yep.
That should show you how well-rounded he is. His only loss in the UFC has come to Shavkat, which is like, again, who's not losing to Shavkat Rachmanov at this point, right?
Yeah, by the way, did you see what he tweeted at...
Gastelum?
Gastelum.
Called him like Pinata or some shit.
Hey, Pinata.
Amazing.
Just roasted him.
Fire. But yes, solid takedowns from Harris. His takedowns aren't like the traditional wrestling that you're going to see out of his opponent.
I like it, though.
It's all like trips and body locks and shit, and he's going to drag you down. He does a good job at remaining calm. He progresses on the ground very well. Another super tricky fight. I think they're similar in more ways than we think. Because if you just take out their frame... Right, because they're different in frame. They're different in size, 100%. Essentially. But they're very similar fighters. I think they're both good. Edge and power and wrestling goes to Wells. The edge and chin and striking, I think, goes to Carleston Harris here. The jiu-jitsu may be a wash. I'm not 100% sure on it. But I'm going to trust the favorite here. I have to take Jeremiah Wells by decision. I think it's a lot closer than the odds make it seem at -170. Or it's a lot closer than a lot of people think it is, I think.
-170 for Wells?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for what it's worth, 83% of people on Tapology are picking Jeremiah Wells. I think this is not a fight that deserves an 83-17.
No, but you know how Tapology is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said. For me, I just think that Carleston Harris is just too sloppy on the feet.
Sometimes.
He absolutely throws from, like, the hip, and... I think he does leave his hands down, too, so it leaves him susceptible to get hit. I think we see a vintage Jeremiah Wells KO here. I really do. I think Jeremiah Wells is going to knock his ass out.
You don't think he's going to have trouble with just the range?
I think he will, but here's the thing. Carleston Harris, I think the way that he leaves his hands down, and sometimes he throws his strikes as if his like elbow is like lashed on to his body, and you can generate good power that way. I just feel like because of that, Jeremiah Wells is going to be able to extend and catch him. If it doesn't end by KO, it becomes an interesting fight because to me, Wells has the better wrestling. Harris has the better jiu-jitsu. So what do you make of that? Wells, he doesn't always do a ton of damage when he gets people down. Mm-hmm. So not the most active offensively. Carleston Harris is definitely going to work a submission. So another tough fight, man. I do think that Jeremiah Wells will eventually catch him, and I'm going to say in the first round.
Okay. I like it. I think it's very possible.
Moving on to the next fight, and this is such a hard one. This might be the hardest one of them all for me.
They just threw like 5
and
crazy
it's an unbelievable fight too. I'm really excited for this one.
By the way, if you can parlay these this 4-5 stretch of fights and hit it,
oh man,
you're a psychopath.
I mean, if you can do that, and you'll make a lot of money, I'm sure. So, but the next fight of the night, or the next fight on the card, it's Raoni Barcelos versus Kyler Phillips at bantamweight, and
is it?
What?
I actually don't have the notes for that fight, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a fight.
I mean, it's a fun fight, that's for sure. At the time that I took my notes, this was listed as the first fight of the night, so I was like, holy shit, what a way to kick off the card. So I'm glad that that's not the case. Mm-hmm. Two really fun fighters. Both are good everywhere. Raoni Barcelos is 10 years older at 36 at this point. but he's been the more active fighter. Kyler Phillips had some injuries, hasn't fought in like a year and a half, but he's young. So I'm expecting him to have made some strides. Also, I mean, if you look at Kyler Phillips' track record, I mean, he's already fought some really good guys in the division. And
he trains with O'Malley.
He has a win over Song Yadong.
Yeah, it was wild.
I mean, that's massive, dude. That's huge. So he's really good. I mean, he's 10 years younger. Also, I think I know it was against somebody who was really good, but Raoni Barcelos' last fight, to me, he looked like he was just a half a step slower.
Starting to slow down.
A little bit. And I know it was against Umar, and he was landing some shots too, but yeah, again, another really tough fight for me. He's got to be careful because Raoni is dangerous. He's got to be careful with the spinning kicks because Raoni is a great wrestler. So if Kyler's going to come out and burn himself out and throw a bunch of spinning shit, and I could absolutely see Raoni Barcelos working him down, even though he's the older fighter. But as the fight goes on, if he's not smart, I could see that happening. To me, if Kyler uses his straight punches and works the leg kick and keeps it tight and technical and doesn't wear himself out, I see him getting a 29-28 decision in what should be an unbelievably fun fight.
Fair. Like I said, I don't have my notes for this fight. I don't know what the hell happened. But regardless of the fact, I do like both guys here. I like Raoni Barcelos. You know, I've been a fan of his for a while now.
Absolutely.
Kyler Phillips, super interesting fighter. He's a finisher. So going into this, I feel like somebody's probably getting finished here, and I would have to give the edge to the guy that's 10 years younger.
So yeah, I just think Raoni's a tough guy to finish. I mean,
he is, but you know
he did also just get knocked out.
Right.
So
The Umar fight kind of makes you feel as if he is losing a step. Because before that, the win was against Trevin Jones. And not to knock on Trevin Jones, but not the greatest fighter in the UFC, right? I don't even know if he's currently in the UFC.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Before that, lost to Victor Henry, lost to Timur Valiev. So, you know, it looks like the career is starting to... It's taking a nosedive, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at.
Could be. So you see a finish for Kyler.
I do see a finish for Kyler. I'll probably say third round. I think once Barcelos kind of slows down, it's probably ripe for the picking.
All right.
Let's
get it. Moving on to the next fight of the night, and it's a Chicago fella, Ignacio Bahamondes versus Ludovic Klein. Really high-level striking matchup. What do you think about this one?
Another super hard fight. Another fight of two guys that are pretty similar. Ignacio Bahamondes, 25 years old. Super damn tall, 6'3" for lightweight. But his 6'3", he's not like a lanky 6'3".
No, he's got some meat on him.
Yeah, which is very weird because you don't see fighters that tall at lightweight.
Yep.
And then when you do see tall guys at lightweight that are tall, they're usually like pencils. You know what I mean? I don't know how the hell he makes 155 with that frame, but he does.
You said Jalen Turner was like much skinnier than you thought, right?
Jalen Turner in person, when I saw him, I was shocked. I was shocked because he was looking really skinny, and then he missed weight.
Yeah.
So he was probably like a little heftier than he normally is going into
must
fight
have
week.
been, yeah.
Right, but yeah, anyways, pretty well built for his height. He's a very, very, very good striker, Ignacio Bahamondes. Great footwork, good head movement.
He's been striking for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Even though he's not an old guy. I mean, he's young.
He is clearly like the skills are all there in the stand-up.
I think his dad was also a kickboxer, yeah.
That's pretty cool. The kicks are super good. We saw the knockout of Roosevelt Roberts, obviously. One of the best knockouts of the year. Absolutely nuts. Great output. He does not stop coming forward. He is constantly on the attack. He's not a striker that you're able to take down very easily. So his takedown defense is very good. His takedown offense is non-existent, however. He just doesn't have it.
Right.
He tries to take people down sometimes. He fails at it miserably, and then we just get back to the striking. He's taking on Ludovic Klein, another very good striker. He's very fast. That's what pops out to me on Ludovic Klein. The speed is like, it's next level.
And he's jacked.
Yeah, I think he has elite speed. He is absolutely yoked. He is also very technical. He has a really good jab. In his last fight, he had a draw against Jai Herbert. I think he may have won that fight.
Yeah, I thought so.
For what that's worth, I think Ludovic Klein is also the real deal. Another super hard fight. Like I said, I just got to take the younger fighter here who looks like he can really be something in the UFC and in this sport. I probably see a finish, either a knockout or a sub. I think both are a possibility. Even though Ignacio Bahamondes is not known for his submissions, he still does have some in his bag. I think he has one career finish by submission. And I could see that here. If Ludovic Klein gets cracked or he gets a little tired and he goes in for like a lazy takedown, this guy's arms are super damn long and he can cinch up like a guillotine really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got a sub on Zhu Rong.
Yeah, Rangju. But yes, so weird. I think this is a good spot for a prop bet with Ignacio Bahamondes by sub. By the way, we are not a betting podcast.
Whatever. At this one, take it as you will.
Yeah.
But you said it, man. The other thing I want to point out is Ludovic Klein is 5'7".
Yeah.
So as tall as Bahamondes is at 6'3".
Yes.
And he's a legit 6'3".
No,
not like they bullshit sometimes. That's a 6-inch reach, a height advantage. Shockingly, only like a 3-inch reach advantage. So, but that is a big difference, man. And it's not like the technique is. It's not like there's a difference in technique, but this guy's shorter, so like you'll have to use his like. Bahamondes is very good technically. Really good leg kicks. He works the shit out of that leg, man. He throws really quick, powerful leg kicks. I also love that he mixes up the strikes. He'll throw elbows, knees.
He's fun, man. Kicks,
punches, and it's all tight. It's all technical. Obviously, the crazy spinning knockout, beautiful. This is tough, man. It's really tough. I think for me, the height and the reach is going to be a big difference here. Mm-hmm. Also, we have seen Ludovic Klein's chin tested before. We have not yet seen that with Bahamondes. I just think Klein's going to have a tough time getting in on him, man. I mean, and Bahamondes knows how to use his height. You have some fighters who don't really know how to use their height that much to their advantage.
It's the years of training striking.
Exactly. So when you've been doing it for 20 years, that's why you have that ease of movement. Also, love the way he switches stances too. I think that's going to be a benefit to him. I see a TKO, man. I see a TKO probably in the second round. Like I said, we've seen Klein's chin tested, and the height difference is, I'm not going just off of that, but just with the skill level, you add in the height difference. I just think that's going to be the key factor here.
Are there, off the top of your head, any other Slovakian fighters in the UFC?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's no way. I mean, maybe. I don't think so.
Yeah.
There are also probably no other Chilean fighters in the UFC.
There might. I feel like there is.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like there is, and it's just not coming to me right now.
Why can't I click the flag and then it just shows me
people in the UFC?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, right? Anything else to add on that one?
No, man. I think if you're not a MMA fan, which you wouldn't be watching this if you're not, but if you're not an MMA fan, or if you have friends that aren't MMA fans, this will be a good fight to show them, and I think they will really
now it's
enjoy
for sure going to be a snooze fest.
Right. I'm putting that juju on it, right?
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next fight of the card, and it's the 8th fight of the night. It's Tanner Boser with his second fight at light heavyweight, 205. And he's taking on the Serbian-American Aleksa Camur. I don't know how you want to say it.
Yeah.
Last time out, obviously, Tanner Boser was knocked out brutally by Ian Cutelaba. He did look to be in really good shape. I was very impressed. He looked shredded, man. Also, pretty good hand speed. He, not the best movement, let's say, but the hand speed was there. He might have been faster than Cutelaba at that point, to be quite honest with you. Certainly doesn't have the power that Cutelaba has. Didn't really have it at heavyweight either, to be quite frank.
Not a power guy.
No, he's just not. He's more of a guy that's going to, tap at you and kind of work you down that way. He's got okay wrestling, too. He did fight at light heavyweight early in his career, just so you know. I think the last time he did, though, was like 2014 or something like that. Looks like a beast, though. At least looks the part. Aleksa Camur, much less experience. He's coming off of losses to Nicholas Negumirianu and Will Knight.
Yeah.
Two big-ass dudes. Yeah. I mean, not the easiest draw to get when you're just coming up. So
yeah, that's tough, man.
Shows you what the UFC thinks of him. He is a 3-time Golden Gloves boxing champion, so that's his bread and butter. I mean, his boxing, his striking is really good. I also like his feints and his movements. I actually really like how he moves, to be quite honest with you. I do believe that he's going to have the faster hands here. He's definitely the more technical striker. He's got the better movement. He may have a testy chin. We've seen it a little bit.
I'm trying to do some testy chins this
couple
weekend,
testes
ladies.
on his chin, but we'll see, because we have seen him knocked out already. For me, though, I do think he pulls this one out by decision. I'm going to say 29-28. Hell, I could see him getting a knockout of his own, to be honest with you, but I'm going to play it safe and go decision in this one.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple.
I could see Boser, for the record, mixing in wrestling in like the first round.
Yeah.
Takes that round, but yeah, ultimately I see him losing.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm keeping it simple here, right? This is probably going to be a striking matchup. We assume, as you said, there is the potential for Tanner Boser to take this fight down. I do like Tanner Boser's frame a lot more at 205 than I did at heavyweight.
No question.
He fits
he looked
a lot
like Roy
better
Nelson at heavyweight.
He did. I think between these two, Aleksa Camur looks like he's progressing, whereas Tanner Boser looks like he is regressing.
Yep.
And he's kind of looking for something. When you see fighters start switching weights off of a losing streak, it's never usually, but it's rarely a good thing, right? It looks like you're kind of just like pulling at shit.
Never usually is fire.
Right. You're kind of just like trying to find something that may not be there. Camur's 27 years old. I think he has potential at 205, a relatively weak division. I'm going Camur by TKO round 2, man. I think he looked very good against Nikolai Negumereanu, who I think very highly of as a fighter at 205. Of course,
where's that guy been? He's injured again?
Well, the last time he fought, I believe it was against Izzy's boy. Was it the Blackjack? I forgot his name. The big, swole dude. But he knocked him out. And that was because Negumereanu had trouble with the range. So, but yes, Camur looked good in that, Camur looked really good in that fight, even late while losing. So maybe Tanner Boser's not as durable as I originally thought he was. And then we were talking about...
I mean, he's 20-10. You know, let's be real.
That's what I'm saying. The record's not that great. We were talking about Slovakian fighters and Chilean fighters, and those two being the only, people from their country in the UFC. I wanted to add that Tanner Boser, when he fought Ivan Cutelaba, who is from Moldova, there's a ton of Moldovans in the UFC, and that is a tiny country. So
MMA Guru did a video on
that. That's kind of like where I was getting at. Yeah. So like per capita, I think they have like the most ranked fighters in the world.
They're like the Samoans in the NFL type shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, I guess Dagestanis are really that.
Facts, yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, no. The thing is, they get classified as like Russia, but it's not. It's like its own thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Some of them look like more Asian, too.
Oh, yeah. That's like the Kazakhstan.
Like Eastern Asian, yeah. Kazakhstan pretty much all looks like that.
Yeah. I know that region of the world because of Risk. A really big Risk fan.
Oh, are you?
You get that at the top right, like Ural and all that.
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Learned something new.
There it is.
Moving on to another great fight. And, dude, I love Diego Lopes.
Same.
This is Gavin Tucker versus Diego Lopes. Gavin Tucker was really damn good a couple years ago. He's coming off a long hiatus, and he's now 37 years old. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so let's start with Lopes. Very tough, good striker, gets hit a lot because he gets brawly. I'm a huge fan of him as well. We saw some really good grappling against Movsar Evloev.
Dude, he was giving him the business.
On a short notice.
On like 4 or 5 days notice.
Right.
Dude, he was giving him the business.
On short notice to fight a top 10 guy.
He almost finished him by sub twice and by KO once.
Yeah, and it was kind of that thing that we saw with Makayev, right? He was just like refusing to tap.
Yeah.
He had that Dagestani thing where they're just like, fuck this, I'm not tapping, break it. I don't care. Like, just go for it. But yeah, to fight a guy of...
Honestly, kind of a scam. He should have won that fight.
If you don't tell, like,
I get it, but
right. But very, very impressive to come in on short notice against the undefeated guy that's that
so
good.
Hyped, yeah,
that's that good,
and
that
really
hyped.
Good.
So super impressed with him. I believe he's the jiu-jitsu coach of Yo Girl, Aleksa Grasso. So her and Aldana and those girls, yeah. So he's their coach. He's legit. I'm really, really excited to see his next fight, and also. What is it?
Oh, nothing.
What was that?
Nothing.
I think I heard you. But that fight, it was one of those like weird situations where like the loser gained, like his stock went up.
I mean, when you make your UFC debut versus Evloev, and then not only that, like first of all, you get props just for doing it.
Yeah, and then damn near beating him.
Dude, almost finished him several times. That's nuts.
Right. Then we have
if that armbar was like an inch or two lower on the arm, like, because he had it kind of like here.
Yeah, if it was like on the elbow or
2 inches this way, it's over.
Probably. So he's taking on Gavin Tucker, 37 years old. He's a lot older than I thought he was. Last time out, he got knocked out pretty damn bad. That was 2 years ago. As you said, he's been on a long hiatus. It's been a damn while since we've seen him. Good striking, really good power. The jiu-jitsu's solid. I don't think it's quite to Diego's level.
No chance.
But the dude is an absolute dog. To me, this is simple. Diego is very active. He just barely lost to a top 10 guy who we all know is very good. He's much younger here. I think he's going to get a takedown. I think he's going to find a sub. I'm going round 1 by that armbar.
Yeah, man. It sucks, too, because Gavin Tucker, like, I totally forgot about Gavin Tucker, to be honest with you. And especially because the last time we saw him, he got brutally
in
knocked
20
out.
seconds.
In 20 seconds by Dan Ige, just like a clean-ass straight.
That was a 50K for Dan Ige.
Yeah, it sure was. And, I mean, just the way he fell, too, it just looked so brutal, you know? But then you look through, like...
Damn, that was the Leon Bilal card.
Yeah.
That is a long-ass time ago.
Feels like an eternity.
That was when Leon Edwards was like, oh, he never gets to fight, poor guy. And then this shit happens, and it's like, oh, can't get right. Now he's the fucking world champion.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And if you look through his record, man, I would have loved to see him fight Nate Landwehr in 2016. Apparently that was canceled twice.
I'll see that today.
The one thing on there is, like, he does have a loss to Ricky Glenn. That hasn't aged great. But he has wins over Sungwoo Choi, Justin James, which, whatever. And
the
Billy
guitar hero, Justin James. Great nickname.
And then Billy Quarantillo. So, and he's looked really good, man, other than that Dan Ige fight. But now, you know, long hiatus, 37 years old. And for Diego Lopes, this is a step down in competition. So,
What do you think about this guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Some dude.
He definitely went to high school with us. But yeah, I mean, I could see Gavin Tucker doing some things, but I mean, I think this is Diego Lopez's fight to lose.
Yeah, so. Great hair, Diego Lopes.
He does have like, 'cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Fire. Fire.
Moving on to the next fight of the night, and this is a guy that I just can't. I can't with this guy. It's Dustin Jacoby versus, I feel like this is a yo boy, Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Massive, my boy.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin Jacoby, for what it's worth, former my boy. I let him go.
Dude, I can't with this Vanilla Ice looking ass boy. I mean, listen, that last fight between him and Azamat Mirzakhanov.
Terrible.
Dude, I had money on that fight too, so I'm a little more salty even.
I think I did too.
And I think it was maybe even like the last piece of a parlay that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like very confident about it. Anything that I thought I knew about Dustin Jacoby went out the window with that fight.
Yeah.
So, he's a great striker. Is he? I don't know. He just danced around. Was scared to throw anything against Azamat Mirzakhanov. Was he just terrified of this guy? It was almost a William Knight-like performance for me. So, I don't know, man. Kennedy is on a really nice run, having strung together now 3 in a row. I think they were all by finish, too, if I'm not mistaken. For Kennedy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were they all finishes, his last 3 fights?
I'm pretty sure. Fights,
I know they were all wins. Yeah. I mean, a standing guillotine against Devin Clark. Yeah. A knockout Ian Kutalaba.
Where he was
Carl
the main
Roberson, elbows from Mount. Knocked him out with that. So, and those are pretty good fighters, man. So, I have to go with Kennedy Nzechukwu here. It's definitely going to be a stand-up fight. So, listen, I mean, Dustin Jacoby is really good on the feet still. If he's going to start slow and dance around, Kennedy Nzechukwu is going to put it on his ass. So, for me, I see a finish for Kennedy, probably by like a late first-round KO. I could even see a sub, to be quite honest with you, just dropping him and then subbing him. I'm probably making it seem like I'm more confident than I am just because I'm salty about the Dustin Jacoby fight, the last one, but that's where I'm at.
All right, so I'll say that I'm very confident in this one. I think it's a crossroads fight. I think it's as simple as that. Kennedy is now ranked, by the way, at 205.
Oh, is he?
I forgot who they just took out of the rankings. Mm-hmm. They took somebody out at 205.
Probably Dustin Jacoby's ass.
Well, no, I think it was like a retirement or like some shit, whatever. Somebody left. Kennedy Nzechukwu is 15th now.
Nice.
Dustin Jacoby used to be 15th, if you recall.
I do.
And then he lost twice in a row.
Yep.
Here's how I see the fight playing out. Dustin Jacoby, very, very patient striker.
Yep.
He starts... He doesn't even start slow. He just fights slow. He point fights.
Yeah.
That's the way Dustin Jacoby fights. Kennedy is a notoriously slow starter as well. He likes to ease his way into the fight.
Less so lately, I feel
Less so lately on this winning streak. But when Kennedy sees or senses the blood in the water, he goes after it.
Absolutely.
So he's not like a slow guy. He seems like lethargic. Like, he seems slow. There's the whole narrative that his chin is garbage because of that weird knockout that we saw.
That was such a weird knockout.
Very weird. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. As a huge Kennedy fan, I was weirded out by it. So every time
you got the ick?
Dude, every time he gets touched, I'm so concerned that he's about to get knocked out. It'll be like a jab to his chest. And I'm like, fuck. Like, just panicking. You know what I'm saying? But he's not like that. I think we make a little too much of that. Dude has really good power.
It's been a hot minute, too. So.
It's been a while. So I think the first round early is going to be very slow. Both guys going to kind of stay at range. But then I think once Kennedy senses the range, figures the shit out, he's going to go get that knockout. So I'm going Kennedy by knockout round 1, late or early round 2. That's the way I see this fight playing out.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing how far up the rankings he can climb.
How far do you think he can climb?
Well, Ryan Spann got to what? What did Ryan Spann get to? Like at his highest point, like 6, 5.
Yeah, he was top 10 for sure.
100%. I think he's still top 10 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
he might have been like 4, somewhere between 4 to 6.
So he's always said, or he's been. I guess he trains with Kennedy and has for a while. He's always said, as soon as Kennedy catches up, I'm out. I'm done with fighting. It's his turn.
Oh, really?
So
interesting.
I think he assumes Kennedy's going to surpass him at some point. I could see Kennedy cracking like that top 8, 6, like that range. He has the power to be able to beat anybody in the top 5. I think he does. I just don't think he'll be a champion. I hope so. But I think he can hit that like 6, 7, 8 range.
6, 7. I would say the latter half of the latter part, like 8.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I could see him cracking the top 10.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, though.
Good fighter, man.
He is. Fun guy to watch, too.
Yep.
I mean, he's a finisher. So, all right, moving on to the co-main event. It's Jessica Andrade versus the undefeated Tatiana Suarez at 115.
2 questions. 2 this time. Not 1.
Okay.
But 2. Number 1. What the hell happened to Jessica Andrade?
She's too focused on her OnlyFans, bro. Got the roast beef fucking flopping out like that and shit. She's just not, her head's not in it anymore.
Because, she, beginning of this year, the Brazil card.
Yeah.
The first pay-per-view, I think that was Jamal Hill and Glover, if I'm not mistaken. She was on that card.
Yeah, she beat
the shit
out of Lauren Murphy.
Right. She dominated Lauren Murphy. And it was like, yo, Jessica
and then
Andrade.
Before that,
Amanda Lemos.
Finished Lemos.
But that was the standing choke. So she's looked really damn good, or she was looking really damn good at that time. Then it was just like she ran into Erin Blanchfield, which we're all like, all right.
Blanchfield took her soul.
Which we're all like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Erin Blanchfield might be a little better than some people thought, but Erin Blanchfield's legit.
Certainly.
Yeah, she is clearly legit. That's what I got.
I think even Yan Xiaonan too. It's like there was some of that where it's like, oh shit,
Yan Xiaonan's
she's damn good,
like a perennial top 5, right?
Yeah.
She's just been kind of like the weird outsider at 115 in that top 5.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about Rose.
I did not see that happening though. I did not see that coming.
I didn't see it either.
A knockout like that? I did not see that.
But here's the thing. At 115, we talk about Wei Li and Rose, and then Carla Esparza had to sneak her little ass in there.
You love her.
I hate Carla Esparza. But yeah, she had to sneak in there, and then it was like Jessica Andrade was always like the best after the people that were champions.
The best.
That was the thought process.
Yeah.
And then she lost to Erin Blanchfield, and we're like, okay, Erin Blanchfield's legit. Plus, there was the whole controversy with like her boob popping out, and maybe that's why she got subbed because she was trying to tuck it back in on TV. So it's like we had some excuses. You had excuses to look for if you were looking for them.
She got titties like that?
No, but it is what it is, right? Then she ended up losing to Yan Xiaonan. That was bad. And
that was more of much more of a shock than the finish by Blanchfield, I would say.
100%. Here's the thing, though. When you look at her record,
it's not a great record.
It's not a great record.
Not anymore.
But, she was a former champion. She beat Rose, right? Rose is by far her best win.
Yeah.
I don't think she has any other, really good wins on her record.
I mean, Lemos.
Like, Amanda Lemos, she's good. I think Jessica Andrade is better. I don't think she's beat anyone else that's better than her.
What about Joanne Calderwood back in the day?
No.
No? You don't think she's a good Calderwood?
I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, she lost to Joanna. She beat Rose on the slam, which is super unique, I guess. It was weird.
Yeah.
Maybe she wouldn't have won that fight because the next time they fought, Rose beat her.
That's what Pat Barry won.
Slam her on her head.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. So yeah, that's just kind of my thought process with that. But then the second question is, what do they drink?
What do they drink?
Yeah.
Let me get a look at her. God, she's fucking burly, my dude.
Bate Azteca, by the way. Jessica Bate Azteca. I don't know what the fuck.
She drinks beer, dude.
You think she's a beer drinker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably like a nice Peroni.
Oh, ooh.
You know?
Fancy.
Something like that.
That's pretty fancy.
Is it?
I mean, for your regular American beer consumer.
True.
Yeah,
You like
she's
Peroni?
Brazilian, but man, I don't remember the last time I had a Peroni.
It's drinkable. It's fun.
When's the last time you had one?
I had a friend who used to drink them, like 5 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then let's see, Tatiana Suarez. Man, she likes a good mimosa. I feel like.
Oh, okay. So like a brunch drinker.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's not out of the club.
I bet you she has fun.
Yeah.
You know, she looks like a fun gal.
Really shy when I met her. It was super weird.
Oh, you met her? Okay.
Well, because she was with Patchy. She's dating Patchy Mix, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So last time I saw Patchy, they were together, and it was like I was just having a conversation with them, and she was kind of just like awkwardly standing there, and I was like, "Hey," she's like, "Hi," and then just kind of like walked away. I was like, "It's not that deep."
Hey, who was it at the Bellator event? That the female fighter?
Felice Herrig.
Yeah.
Shout out Felice Herrig.
Dude, that's a great picture. Like,
dude, I look like I'm hammered in that picture.
She looks hammered.
She was hammered, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not passing that. I'm not like throwing that on her.
Sure.
But nice lady.
Okay.
It was really fun.
But listen, getting back to the actual fight here.
Okay. I guess we could do that.
Oh, did you have anything else to add?
No. I was having fun.
No.
Right.
I mean, I am too, but I feel like the video is already an hour and a half long at this point.
Good question. Yeah.
So
56 minutes. We're vibing.
Chilling. Anyway, this is going to be a win for Tatiana Suarez.
Okay.
And I think she's just going to pretty handily wrestle and out grapple Jessica Andrade. I think Jessica Andrade still definitely is better than the vast majority of women in most of these weight classes, 115, 125.
Yeah.
I just think that Tatiana Suarez is really good. I mean, hell, she's undefeated. I know she had that bad injury, but she's back. Hopefully we'll see her being more active, but Andrade obviously can pack a punch. I just see Suarez just out grappling her and taking a decision win.
Yeah. I'm pretty comfortable in this pick, and for the first time in my life, I'm very comfortable picking against Jessica Andrade.
So, the same.
Yeah, so there are two things, though, right? Jessica Andrade is always, like, a live pick for a knockout.
100%.
She could always knock you out. She is really strong and powerful. For a girl of, like, her frame, she's absolutely explosive as shit. And then the second thing is, I'm a little concerned Tatiana Suarez dropping back down to 115 for the first time since her return.
Yeah.
How is that going to look? And again,
Why did she do it, by the way, too?
Well, 115 is always the weight class she's wanted to fight at. That's her. She
right.
always says, this is my weight class. She's fought at 25. She's fought at 15. She thinks this is her home and where she's going to be a champion. Weirdly enough, and I don't mean this in any rude way at all, but when I saw Tatiana Suarez, she was looking pretty big. And I know it's like rude to say that about a lady, but she was looking like pretty big. Not like fat, but she's a big girl. Compared to Valentina Shevchenko, who fights at 125.
Dude, she looked tiny.
And Valentina was so small
She's
when we
tiny,
saw her.
Dude.
And that's supposed to be a fighter that's, in a weight class that I guess is 10 pounds heavier. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I'm fairly confident in Tatiana Suarez here. I think she's going to get...
That's the off-season, too, though. If she...
Yeah. I mean, it was 2 months ago, right? The Bellator card?
Yeah.
So, obviously, and we know they cut a lot of weight, these fighters, before the fights. So, maybe it's nothing. I'm just throwing it out there as if it may be something. Tatiana Suarez by sub. I think she does it pretty easily, too.
I like it. And then, of course, we have our main event, which is Cory Sandhagen versus Rob Font.
Fabrant, where you at?
And this is... It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. Rob Font, I know, hasn't had, like, the best of luck recently. I mean, first of all, he did knock the shit out of Adrian Yanez. I'm pissed at myself because I had Rob Font in my parlay. If the parlay busted early on, like the first fight of that card, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I feel like Yanez. And then on the next parlay,
you re-put it in.
Yeah, and it would have hit if I didn't stay with that. So... Anyway,
I'd be like that.
He does have, he did lose to Marlon Vera. He did lose to Jose Aldo. No shame in that. Two really good fighters, obviously. I think the biggest thing with Rob Font is, like, sometimes he looks like he has great power in his hands, like when he knocked out Yanez. The two fights before that, he looked very pillow-fisted. Like, he didn't look like he was packing much of a punch.
Yeah.
For a guy that's primarily a boxer, that's obviously a big problem. Yeah. So, for me... I'm going to kind of discount that and just assume, I don't know, something was off with him. But for me, it's just outside of the boxing, he doesn't have a ton for Sandhagen.
Yeah.
So this is a high confidence pick for me. Could he clip Cory? Of course he can. I mean, he's a high level UFC fighter and a great boxer. So for me though, Sandhagen, he can stay at range and pick at him. The one thing he doesn't want to do is probably get into that close to intermediate range or spend too much time there. Cory Sandhagen's not bad himself, but Cory Sandhagen's much better when he's at distance, has more room to throw the kicks, throw the spinning stuff, throw the leg kicks, throw the elbows. And on the ground, I mean, Sandhagen's just a wizard. So if it goes to the ground, I see Sandhagen getting the finish here. I see Sandhagen getting the finish in any case, and I will say by sub, but I think it's going to be a good fight, and let's say probably like third round finish.
Okay, so either way, a knockout or a sub, third round.
Yeah.
All right, fair. I just want to throw in.
I don't really see a knockout for Sandhagen, to be honest.
So you think it's by sub?
Yeah.
Fair. I could see that.
I could see a decision too, but I think less likely to me. Cory Sandhagen, I think it's going to put it on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's looked amazing lately.
He has looked really hot, and it looks like he's flying towards that title shot that he desperately wants, right?
And he deserves it.
I'll say this. I love both of these dudes. Two guys with really good walkout songs.
Yeah, that's true.
Sandhagen usually walks out to Notorious B.I.G.
Yep.
Last time, though, he walked out to Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash.
That's right.
Which was dope. And then, of course, we have Rob Font always walks out to Welcome to Jamrock by Damian Marley. So, badass songs.
Fire.
I think on our IG, I posted a Rob Font thing when he fought Yanez. And that was like the first fighter appreciation post that I put up. So, huge fans of Rob Font.
Yeah,
absolutely love him.
He's great.
Here's the thing, though. Cory Sandhagen is a dog, right?
Rob Font also 36.
Right.
Worth mentioning.
He's a little older. He's older. Cory Sandhagen's a dog. We teased it last week. I'm sticking our pick. It's Cory Sandhagen. It's pretty obvious to me. Sandhagen's a minus 310. A lot of people in MMA, a lot of the fighters
I see
in the
minus 270 for what it's worth, but same shit.
Okay. A lot of fighters in MMA, a lot of fighters in the UFC have been on record saying that Cory Sandhagen is the best striker in MMA, and he's the smartest fighter in MMA.
He's looked the part.
And yeah, I don't know if I can argue too much with him.
Looked the part.
Curtis Blades has said it. I forgot. There's a couple fighters that said it.
Also, just a cool ass dude. Like if you just watch his videos and whatnot on Instagram, and
he's chill.
He's a chill ass dude.
You would figure from a guy named Cory, dude. Just like a Cory.
That is true.
Right.
Also, Rob Font, never would have thought he was Puerto Rican.
He looks it.
I mean, he looks it, but Font?
Yeah.
I guess Font.
Ooh. Okay.
A little spice.
But yeah, so the best, according to a lot of fighters, the best striker in MMA, and Rob Font is one of the best boxers in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Definitely one of the best boxers in the division, right?
No question.
He can 100%, he can knock Cory Sandhagen out. That is a possibility.
Cory Sandhagen's not going to get caught.
No, but I'm just saying.
It's so shocking.
It's in the outcomes, right? It's definitely in the outcomes. That'll happen if Cory Sandhagen hangs out too much in the pocket, which is where Rob Font does his best work, is boxing in that pocket. Cory Sandhagen, however, the way he strikes is totally not an in-your-face, stay here for too long kind of guy. Mm-mm. He's a get-in, get-out striker. He pokes at you. He throws some fucking power, though. Like, he's not just poking. He goes in there, throws a shot, and gets the hell out. I think Sandhagen's too smart to get caught up in that pocket. I can see this being similar for Rob Font to the Chito Vera fight. Not in the sense that he's going to dominate the fight for 4.5 minutes every round and then get absolutely cracked by something. But in the fact that I think he's going to take a ton of damage, but he'll be able to handle it. And we'll come out at the other end of this decision for Cory Sandhagen. It'll be a clear decision for Cory Sandhagen. That's the way I see it. But we'll come out saying, man, Rob Font's a fucking dog. I also think that the winner of this fight potentially gets a title shot.
Yeah.
So we do have Aljo and Sean O'Malley.
Maybe not if it's
right. So
Rob Font.
But maybe, right? You just beat Sandhagen.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of depends on what happens. If Aljo wins, I assume Merab is going to get the title shot if Aljo vacates. And it's going to be Merab versus the winner of this, because then Sean O'Malley will have just lost. Umar, who was supposed to fight Sandhagen, will not get the opportunity because he couldn't make the fight.
Yep.
Who else really gets a title shot? Maybe Chito Vera. Maybe Chito Vera, right?
Maybe.
If he gets a win on that card as well.
Maybe you do a rematch.
With who?
Font and Chito.
Like if Font wins?
Yeah.
I think you got to give Merab the opportunity. At that point.
No, you do. You do. I'm saying like.
Oh, maybe. So, anyways, that's what I think's happening there. Next week we do get Vicente Luque and RDA. That's a really good card if you've started watching film for it.
I have not.
Really underrated card. Like I think there's a lot of good shit going on the prelims there. And then after that we get UFC 292, which is Aljo versus Suga. That's going to be absolutely crazy. Last couple things I got to throw out. My boy Impa Kasanganay fighting this Friday in the PFL. He's in the semifinals.
That is your boy. Oh, nice.
Semifinals for the $1 million. Good luck to him. Hope the best. And then the last thing is we also get Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz this Saturday.
I was going to mention that.
And
did you see Nate walked out of that interview? I want nothing to do with that. I'm gonna watch the shit out of it.
Same.
But
exactly.
I want nothing to do with it. Jake Paul's probably gonna knock him out.
Do you think those fights are real?
Yeah, I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like a skeptic all the time.
I'm a skeptic, but dude, Jake Paul is a good boxer.
He's good. He's good. He's
got good power. Like,
it's just that Woodley knockout seems so fucking fake.
That seemed crazy.
Like, how is this fighter just gonna stand there? I don't know. Anyways, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz is gonna be fun, but this is an MMA thing. Maybe we will cover that. We'll see. We'll find out.
Sure.
Maybe we won't.
I'm definitely gonna watch the shit out of it.
You know how you guys are gonna know if we cover it or not? You're gonna click that little subscribe button. You're gonna ring the little bell. That's gonna notify you if and when that Jake Paul, Nate Diaz video drops. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. We would really appreciate that. We got some cool shit going on up there. We got the Ode Osbourne video. Yuri Prohashka follows us. We don't talk about that too often. So, anything else, Dino?
My goal is now to get Jamal Hill to follow us.
Damn. So we get Yuri and Jamal Hill to follow us.
Yep.
Then whoever the next champion at 205 is probably going to get injured.
We'll
get him to follow.
We're gonna block the other one.
Yeah, fuck that third guy. If it's Alex Pereira especially, fuck him.
100%.
Anything else, Dino?
That's it.
He's DS. I'm Dino Bam Bam. We're the 107 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.